Hey, what's up guys? Yarden here, coming to you guys with a brand new video today, and we're going to be doing a deck profile on my up-to-date Royal Paladin deck. So this is going to be a Gancelot and Soul Saver deck. It's something that I've been experimenting with for a good while now. I know that it was a thing when Gancelot came out, but wasn't particularly interested in a Soul Saver variant at the time. But I have been testing a few different builds of Gancelot since then. I did the Feather Dragon build, which was probably the most optimal at the time. Especially, you could just generate loads of pluses and just generate a field. It was really, really nice, but I didn't really fancy the feel of that deck. It felt very tunnel vision and a bit too simplistic. Whereas this deck, it's got a little bit more going on, I feel, and I quite like the explosive play that you can do with Soul Saver Dragon in conjunction with Force 2. And that's kind of like the inspiration for experimenting with some of the older Royal Paladin cards, especially, is that Force 2 has given me a bit of a different direction on deck building and thinking about what units would be quite good with it. So I've been using cards like Gordon, for example, to try to get extra power to make my columns still fairly big, but also pressure them with that critical from the Force 2. So without further ado, we'll go into the deck and I'll show you guys what I'm playing. I'm not going to spend too long on explaining stuff just because I tend to do that on the original profiles. This is more of an update and a different take on the deck. So for grade 3s, I went for the 4 Gancelot, of course. Really, really solid. Gancelot has been a great support card ever since he came out. He's been able to keep Royals like up to speed with things. Of course, there's going to be other decks that's just going to be more dominant than Royals. Royals isn't really doing that much in terms of the competitive scene. But it is just a solid build. You know, Gancelot's always been a great support card for them since it came out. But like I said, we are pairing him up with Soul Saver Dragon. She is great. The Soul Blast 5 to get the entire field 15,000 power. Really great kill turn, especially with Force 2. You can really pressure them with those criticals, and because we have crit triggers in the deck, naturally speaking, we can potentially cause lethal damage while they're at 3. So they have to be very careful. And man, there's been some close scenarios with Soul Saver. I had a game recently with my friend Jamie, and I was versing his new Vanquisher deck. He was, learning the deck, see what it was like. And I quite liked versing Vanquisher. It felt not too overwhelming, but it could definitely do some cool stuff. But I had a really close game where I managed to get to the Soul Saver turn, and he just had enough cards to block all of my attacks. I was very low on resources at the time, but with that, I had enough power to pressure him. So that was that was a good thing to see from Soul Saver, and gave me a bit more confidence with the Soul Saver variant. So I feel like 3 was enough for her, just because you really only want to see it in the end game anyway. I mean, it gives you a little bit more consistency with the grade 3 ride as well. I haven't had too many problems with ride consistency, but I don't feel like 4 of it is necessary. I think 3 is absolutely fine. So we'll go into the grade 2s. We, of course, have our 4 Blaster Blade. He is still kicking around. Insane that this card's coming up to be, I think, 2-year-old now, which is pretty insane. But yeah, Blaster Blade is really good. Of course, with Gancelot, getting the extra drive checks and becoming a Vanguard to get his crit skill online is very, very good indeed. But there's also something else with him that makes it even better in a Soul Saver build, which is Pluck Enchanter, since you will basically turn your Blaster Blades into an on-play Soul Charge, which is amazing for a Soul Saver strategy. But yeah, it just, it works with both of them really nicely, getting the Soul Charges and also getting the pluses through Gancelot. So very, very nice. And of course, the crit pressure with Force 2 is also really good. Throwing a 3 crit Blaster Blade is pretty deadly. Pretty deadly indeed. Now, the next card is going to be the 4 Loading Angel. This card's insane. Like, this is actually what wanted me to build a Soul Saver variant, actually, because this card's just insane in the Gancelot build anyway, but the fact that it puts itself into the Soul for a counterblast is just nutty. Building that Soul up towards Soul Saver and then drawing us 2 cards, it's great. Really, really love this. So it's been working out very well. Now, we're getting to experimental stuff here. I actually went back and put in Akane. The reason for this was because I wanted to have a little bit more, how do I put this? I wanted a bit more control with my soul charging. Of course, we have the Pongal, But I didn't want my only forms of soul charge to be Soul Saver's attack, and on place from Blaster Blade with a Pluck Enchanter, because there are scenarios where you will place Blaster Blade, but you won't get the counter charge back from Pluck Enchanter, which I feel like is just a loss on that side. And of course, the end phase with the Loading Angel. I kind of wanted a bit more like, main phase soul charging. So I feel like Akane with the Pongal was pretty nice just because it gives me that. And also it gives me sort of the same plussing that Bedivere and K gave me, because you would need both of them in your hand to get the +1 from Bedivere for that draw, which, in its own right is really good. And of course 24k from that magic number is really good with Force 2. But I feel like I really need to focus more on the win con rather than just advantage, because I already get that through my Blaster Blade drive checks and my angels. So I feel like just being a bit too greedy is going to set me back towards actually winning the game. So I feel like it kind of helps me with that. And also it's another unit in my deck that will help me fill the field up, which was the other mindset I had, because your Ks could go Counterblast and get the Bedivere from your deck to help fill the field up. Akane is essentially the same thing, but you're just focusing more on the soul charging aspect rather than the numbers essentially. Although it is good with the Force 2, I preferred the soul charging aspect here. Now, in terms of fixing numbers, I did really feel bad about missing out on that extra little bit of power. So I actually decided to put in 3 copies of Great Sage Barron. Now this card is pretty cool. It's a grade 2 that says once per turn, when your other unit attacks, you may have that unit get 5,000 power till the end of the battle. Not too bad. You can actually give that to your Vanguard as well. So your Gancelot swinging, instead of 13, it's now 18, which means the magic number threshold has now changed, just from that 5k boost. Now the cool thing is, if the unit that you give was a grade 3 or greater, that 5k boost for, you can counterblast and retire him, and then give that unit an additional critical as well, which is pretty good. Swinging it with a Soul Saver with a Force 2 is good and all, don't get me wrong, but having the ability to turn that into a 3 crit Vanguard is really, really nice, because like I said, the damage threshold that your opponent can allow themselves to go to now changes. Now, when they go to 3 or 4 damage now, they're going to be really, really on edge about, taking any attacks now. You're pretty much making it so that they have to guard, otherwise they're going to die. So yeah, the crit aspect of it I love for the pressure, and the 5,000 boost is really nice to help fix some numbers in the certain columns. And obviously the retiring of this as well is quite nice, so you can actually, put other stuff on the board that you want, like your angels and stuff. And also it can actually make room for other rear guards, like same thing goes for Angel. Angel puts itself into the soul, which means you have room to call something else in that circle that Angel was at. So yeah. So Barron's been really, really nice. It wasn't doing anything initially in testing, but there was a few games I had recently where this put in a lot of work. So I was quite happy to see that. Now, you could, by all means, swap one of these Barons out and maybe the Akanes to put in the Bedivere and K engine. That's also an option. But at the minute, I'm just more focused on generating soul and getting to my soul saver, which is my win condition, as consistently and as fast as I can. So that's the mindset there. But you can still play Bedivere and K if you still wish to, but you'll have to make a bit of tweaking. So for grade 1s, we have the 4 Tristan, of course. Just max consistency, get into Blaster Blade. Yeah, don't really need to explain that much. And then we have one of the key players of the deck, which is 4 Pluck Enchanter. Now, this card, wow, this card's really nice. Yeah, like I said, it's such a good piece in the deck. Oops, sorry there. It's such a good piece in conjunction with Soul Saver and Gancelot, because it's just giving you that counter charge back to use your other skills in the deck. Because you got to think, these units here all are counterblast. So if you did want to replace the Akanes for the Bediveres, I could understand that, because there is a lot of counterblast, but you're not necessarily going to be using all of it at the same time. Like, there's going to be times where you just don't use Blaster Blade's counterblast or Barron. If anything, the main things you're going to be using is your Angels and your Tristans. Those are the main counterblasts that you're going to be using all the time. And then Akane is probably like second in line with Blaster Blade. The Barron's just more of an optional counterblast. It's like, if you can spare it and it helps you, put yourself in a good position, go for it. So yeah, I was playing 3 this for a while, but in a Soul Saver deck, it's just so much better to have 4 this, because, like I said, it turns Blaster Blade into an on-play Soul Charge, which is just insane. So yeah, really, really nice. It's been working out very, very well. And then we have the 3 copies of Pongal. Just decided to go for 3 of this, just because it goes with the 3 Akane. Didn't really want to make room for a 4th one, because I did want to have my 1 Gmoris in here. Gmoris has always been a nice tech for Royals, just because it can put any grade 2 to the top or bottom of your deck. So you can actually recycle your Blaster Blades and you can get it back. So I always see this as like an extra copy of Blaster Blade if I need it, like if I'm that desperate. But you could replace this for anything else that you feel like playing. But I just like playing the one of. I mean, sometimes if I see it in my opening hand, I'll just ride it. You know, it helps me hold on to like my more important grade ones at least. But I think it's a nice flex slot that you can, you know, play whatever you want at that point. And then the grade 0s is pretty natural. We have the 1 Barcgal, of course. I'll just put that. Where do I put these? I'll put them here. But yeah, we have Barcgal. We have the 4 Llew, the 4 Flogal. Something funny with Flogal, by the way, it's actually relevant with Akane because it can get the 3k since it's a high beast, so it can actually help make some good numbers. Haven't heard that for a while, but that is a thing to take note of. We have the 4 draw PGs and the 4 heal triggers. But yeah, this is the current version of Royals that I've been playing for the past few weeks. Looking forward to see what you guys think about it. I really like it myself. It's a different take on the deck rather than going like the Feather Dragon build or, you know, going backwards to like Monarch Alfred. I quite like how this deck felt over the past couple of weeks, and I even entered a tournament over the weekend at my locals and I came 3rd place, so not too bad. But definitely going to be, you know, making changes to this. I am considering swapping the Akane engine out with Bedivere and K, and then maybe dropping a Barron out to make room for that. But not too sure yet. We'll have to see. But yeah, there's definitely room for improvement in here. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update to my Royal deck, since it has been, I think, almost half a year, I think, since the last one. I do actually have my other decks here. I've got my Gold Paladin deck and my new deck, which is Oracle Think Tank. I actually decided to make a Magus deck, which you're probably wondering, why did I make Magus? It's not that good. Well, the main thing is that it just looks fun to play. And that's really all I was after with the Protect deck, because I did try Grand Blue originally, but I just didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't sync with it. You know, I didn't get in touch with it. And I do think it's cool, but yeah, I got rid of it, and I kind of felt like playing a different Protect deck in some fashion, but I just didn't know what clan to play. But I looked at the Magus cards, and I honestly just like the strategy of just drive checking a lot and checking the top of the deck. And also, a lot of the cards look really cool. Like, I really like Pentactical Magus' artwork. Looks very, very nice. So I'm quite happy with it. I might do a profile for it, not sure yet. I know it's a bit of an older deck, but we'll see. Iseult, I'm actually in the middle of testing this at the minute. I've actually decided to go back to an old version of it with Raven-haired Iseult as the focus. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. I'm going to do a bit of play testing with it, see what it's like. But yeah, this is the current version of Royal Paladin that I've been playing with. So I hope you guys like the update. And yeah, I will have some new videos on the channel over the next month, hopefully. It's been a bit tough recently just because we actually got a new dog recently, and it barks a lot. So I'm finding it difficult to find time in the day where I can actually record without noise going on. But yeah, we'll just go with the flow, I suppose. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and like always, guys, take care, have a nice day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is Guardian, signing out.